Hello everyone, I'm Chef Guntas Sethi Bhasin. I hope all of you are doing very well and staying safe. As a part of HSBC's initiative to make your days at home a little more interesting, I will be teaching you how to make two of my favorite fusion dessert recipes. The first one being a Gulab Jamun cheesecake, the second being chocolate coated dates with nuts. So we'll first start by making a no-bake Gulab Jamun cheesecake. Now Gulab Jamun and cheesecake are two of my favorite desserts, and putting it together does sound interesting enough. So we will start off by first constructing the base layer, which will be made from digestive biscuits, some melted butter. Then we'll be moving on to our cream cheese layer, which will be a cheesecake filling basically. Then we will be using some Gulab Jamuns. Now in my case, I am using pre-made or store-bought Gulab Jamuns. However, you could make them at home if that's what suits you. Then finally, we have a whipped cream frosting on top. Now this will take a little bit of time, so let's get started. So starting off with the base to our recipe, we will be needing few digestive biscuits. Then we will need some melted butter. What I've also done here is I've taken the syrup from our Gulab Jamun and I'll be using that to make the base. Some chopped pistachios. Some elaichi powder. Then for our cream cheese filling, we will be needing some whipped cream. So this is whipping cream which we will whip. Then some agar-agar powder, some saffron milk, cream cheese, and obviously Gulab Jamun. Now when it comes to choosing the pan that we need to assemble our cheesecake in, we always use a spring foam pan. That's because it's very easy to actually pull the handle and remove the base. A normal cake tin wouldn't actually work in this particular case because it wouldn't be possible for you to just flip over your cheesecake. But what I will be doing additionally is I will be greasing my tin and then lining it with parchment paper so that once our cheesecake is ready, it will be much easier to actually remove it. So we'll start by first greasing our pan. I'll take a little bit of oil and brush it onto the sides and at the bottom. Then I'll remove the top part. So I have a sheet of parchment paper here, which I'll be putting so that when our cheesecake is ready, it's just easier to lift it up. Then I'll be using a strip of parchment paper, which we will be putting onto the sides. And our spring foam pan is actually ready now. Now for the base, we will be using digestive biscuits, which we will crush until we get a fine powder. To that, I will be adding some melted butter and a little bit of the reserved Gulab Jamun liquid. Also, to add a little bit of crunch, I will be using some chopped pistachios and just a small pinch of elaichi powder. And we'll mix this together until we get a sandy texture. You may need to add a little more liquid in case you do feel that it's not coming together properly. Also, you know that it's ready when you actually take it in your fist and press it together and it holds together like sand. Now we will transfer this into our lined spring foam pan and spread it evenly. Until it forms a uniform, even layer. Now another trick that I love to follow to make sure that it's even and uniform is that I use a ramekin. Now you can use a glass and actually just press it This way, we've got a uniform, even layer. Now you could also use chopped almonds or some chopped cashews instead of chopped pistachios. I personally love pistachios, so that's what I have chosen. Now this will go into the freezer for 15 minutes until it's properly set. Now moving on to the cheesecake filling, we will be taking 1 tablespoon of gelatin. To that I'll add 1/4 cup of hot water. I'll mix this and keep this aside until it actually starts to thicken. Now onto the cheesecake filling, I'll take some cream cheese and we will whip this up until it's smooth and fluffy. Now it's very important for your cream cheese to actually be at room temperature so that it's easier for you to whip it. I'll also be adding in some saffron milk. And again beat this up. You can see it's actually becoming really fluffy and light now. Now that it's light and fluffy, we'll get on to whipping some double cream. Now my double cream is previously sweetened already. In case yours isn't, please go ahead and add 1/2 cup of sugar. Now we'll whip our cream until it actually forms peaks. I'll show you when that happens. Our cream is now ready because it's holding its peaks. Now what we'll do is we'll incorporate it with the cream cheese, add the gelatin that we made earlier, and then mix it all together. We will be adding the agar-agar mix right now. Then goes in our whipped cream. I'll be reserving a little bit of the whipped cream for a topping on top of the cheesecake. I'll add in a little bit of pistachios because obviously I do love them. And again a pinch of elaichi powder. And that's it, we'll whisk it again. Now that our filling is completely ready, we have the frozen base. If you can see, it's absolutely frozen and hard. What I'll do is I'll take a little bit of the filling and put it on the base and spread this. Now for this, I like to actually use my palette knife. Now this is a palette knife. Spread a little bit of this onto the base. What this will actually do is help secure when we put the Gulab Jamun in. It will secure it and make sure that it stays in place. Now onto the Gulab Jamun. So we'll make sure that we put it everywhere so that every slice and every bite has a little bit of it. Now we'll go ahead with the rest of our filling and even that on top. Now in case you have any cheesecake filling that is left, you can make mini cheesecakes in your small cupcake molds, or you could also actually make mousse jars out of this using a normal glass jar. That's it, we're done with this, and I'll tap to make sure that if there's any air that escapes and to even it all out. And this is ready. This will go in the refrigerator for at least 4 to 8 hours, and then we'll see it again. So our cheesecake has been setting in the refrigerator for 4 hours now. You can also set it overnight. What I will do is now actually open the handle and then remove it from its pan. It comes out easily. Here's the parchment paper. There it goes. And that's how we remove the base. So that's why the parchment paper helps us, but it's so much more easier to actually remove it. What I will also do is now remove it from the parchment paper. So I'm taking a knife to loosen it up. And then we transfer it onto our cake tray. That's done. Now I'm going to just smoothen the edges a little bit. And it's ready. Now on to the decoration of the cheesecake. I'll be using some chopped pistachios, putting them on the side, sprinkling them. Now you can sprinkle it with whatever other nuts that you would like. You can also actually use some chopped Gulab Jamun as well. They look very pretty on top as well. Some small bits, or even cutting them into half. Then I have some dried rose petals. Just a little bit to add a pop of color. Again onto the sides. If you can see, it looks very pretty and very festive. And then I have some kesar, saffron, which I will lightly sprinkle. And our Gulab Jamun cheesecake is ready. So we'll try and get a slice of our cheesecake now. I will go in with a hot knife which has been dipped in boiling water and then wiped out. That will help us get clean slices. And it's ready. If you can see, we have a base layer, the cheesecake layer, and the intersections of the Gulab Jamun. Let's move on to our second recipe for the day. We are making chocolate coated dates which are filled with nuts. Now if you are somebody who is health conscious and who does like to binge in sweets but with a little bit of restriction, this is the one for you. As we all know, dates are power packed with a lot of nutrition, and so are nuts. These are coated very slightly with a little bit of chocolate. However, you could also alternate and use sugar-free chocolate for this. Now starting off, we have medjool dates. Now these are big in size, super nutritious. They do have the seed inside them, which we will remove, and we will replace the seed with nuts. So we have cashews, almonds and pistachios. These have been lightly roasted. It's important to roast your nuts because it brings out the oil and the flavor. Then we have some sugar-free chocolate which I have grated. I will melt this and then let's start with the process. To start off, we'll first take the date, remove the pit slightly, then make a small insertion like this, open it, remove the seed, and that's it. We'll do this with all of the dates until all the seeds have been removed. Now we'll start with stuffing our dates with dry fruits. So I have some pistachio here. I'll push the dry fruit in, roasted almond. Then we have some cashews. And using the pressure from my palms, I'll just roll this. And if you can see, this is properly stuffed and it becomes a ball. On to the next one. Now you could melt your chocolate either using a double boiler or in the microwave in 30-second intervals. We will dip our dates in the chocolate using 2 forks, lightly coat it. Remove the excess and then transfer it onto a tray which has been lined with parchment paper. Now what I also like to do is lightly dust it with a little bit of chopped pistachios or any other nuts of your choice. So we'll repeat this with all our dates. You can also take 3 at a time or whatever is convenient for you, but make sure to do this fast before your chocolate actually starts to set. Also, there are a lot of different types of chocolates that are available in the market. You have couverture chocolate, you have compound chocolate. I personally love using couverture chocolate. Compound isn't one of my favorites. You can use whatever you would like. I'll sprinkle some pistachio onto all of them and then quickly pop it into the refrigerator until the chocolate has actually set. Now that these are ready and out of the refrigerator, you can see how they separate from the parchment paper. If there's any excess, you can also remove that. I'll plate them here. They make for a perfect bite-sized dessert. These are now festive ready. You can serve them to your guests, anybody who's coming to greet you, or even to indulge on your own. I have taken one and made a cross section of it to actually show you what it looks on the inside. So there's a layer of chocolate, dates, and then nuts. I hope you guys enjoyed this session and you do try this for your friends and family for the festivities. Now it's my time to go and indulge in this noble Gulab Jamun cheesecake.